was juicy.
Oh my god.
Yeah? Was yours juicy too?
Flattered. Yeah, mine was juicy too.
Hell yeah. Oh, what's up, y'all? Oh my god.
Yo, you busting over there?
Doing something. I've heard busting makes you feel good, so. Anyway.
Hell yeah.
Welcome, everyone. We wanted Matt to join, but he's off being an adult or something, I think. So, it's just gonna be Ryan and I
Buying
today.
groceries or something.
Or something.
Or things such as.
In the wise words of a very famous YouTuber, and things such as.
Yeah.
So I've
heard that you have a bone to pick about the Adeptus Mechanicus.
I ain't got no bones. The flesh is weak, baby. We got robot parts to pick with G-dubs, I guess. But before we get too into the weeds on that, we are like 15 subs away from 1,000. So if you guys think we're cute, hit us with the usual YouTube pleasantries.
My hair's a mess.
By liking and subscribing. It would mean a lot
to us. If I'd known you were
going
to talk about how cute we were, I would have like coned my hair better.
You always look cute. But yeah, so we can start getting into it a little bit. As everyone is aware, the new Admech codex came out alongside the new Necrons codex. I don't have too much bad to say about the Necrons codex, to be honest. But the Admech codex is, I think, problematic. When I made the thumbnail, you can see the thumbnail said 185 points on it. That turned out to not be true, right? What happened was everybody thought that some points got leaked that were going to be true, and that Belisarius' Call was still going to cost 185 points, which is far too much. But what they did instead was they made him 180 points, so that solved all of his problems. He's 5 points cheaper. He's a much better character now. I'm lying.
Oh shit!
He's borderline useless. He got nerfed, and they took 5 points off. He needs to be like 80 points. And then maybe I think about taking him. It's awful.
I haven't read any of the rules. I haven't read anything about the new codex, so I have no idea what the new Adeptus Mechanicus can do. I know they've said they've said that they're very tough and hard to kill.
No,
and I know there's a detachment for robots. Apparently,
yeah. We'll get into that, right? So,
okay.
Starting with points because those are like fresh. Belisarius' Call went down 5 points. Borderline useless. He's like supposed to be the Admech's big like pick 3 character. It's garbage. For 180 points. The Sidonian Scatros, the big tall stilts man, 65 points. Why would I take
the new stilts man?
That's the new stilts man. That's the chicken
walker. Chicken walker guys.
So taser chickens. Actually, both flavors of chicken are really good at their points, right? So the taser chickens are 60 points. The laser chickens are 45 points. But that's like a different problem that I'll kind of get into a little bit later. I still don't think that's ideal. But anyway, the Scatros, 65 points. He's supposed to be this like crazy lone op assassin, right? But why would you take that when you can take a Vindicare, who is significantly better for 15 more points, 80 points? No reason to take a Scatros. Omnipulus got nerfed pretty hard. Basically, the army kind of as a whole got nerfed across the board. Like, all the stuff that was useful kind of got nerfed. But the points really didn't change much. Everything is kind of +5 or -5 points. It's bad. It feels like they should have either changed a bunch of the points and made them lower, or made just everything better to make that many points, or to make them worth that many points, right? But they didn't. They didn't change much of anything. And it was already a problematic index. People were already not happy about it. So doing those little tiny tweaks kind of just rubbed people the wrong way. Yeah, take a dragoon with a Jezzail for 45, no lone op, but it's stealth and better wounds and toughness. Yeah, they are, if I remember correctly, T7, 7 wounds, and they have stealth. Much better. Just take those. Yeah, it seems like GW is confused. It seems like this book should have... It probably was written before 10th edition came out, if I had to guess. And my only assumption, and it's me huffing a lot of copium, is that there is going to be some kind of pretty significant buff to the entirety of Admech in the next balanced data slate. That's coming out next month. We'll see. I'm not getting my hopes up, but that's the only thing I can possibly think of to justify what they've done with the points here. Especially when you look at Admech as a book, right? And it's such a disjointed book. The army rule, the Doctrina Imperatives, works on like 2/3 of the book. It doesn't work on the whole army. So your army ability
is only ranged weapons, right?
So that's a part of it, right? So it's only ranged weapons. So the third of the book that is melee focused doesn't get affected by the army rule, and it's pretty much only Skitarii stuff that gets affected by it. There's some odd exceptions, like I think Cataphrons get affected by it. But it's just weird to have a whole army rule that doesn't affect your entire army. And then they didn't help with the detachments. So like you were talking about with the robots, right? There's a detachment, the cohort Cybernetica detachment, that only affects the robots. Literally 1 unit in the whole book. It's fucking insane.
Castellan robots?
Technically 2 units if you count the character that goes with them, but you're not taking one without the other. But yeah, it like only affects the fucking robots. It's nuts. It's insane that they made a whole detachment that only affects 1 unit. Yeah.
Does it make them battle line?
No, I don't even remember what it does exactly. I have to look. I don't have the book yet. I get the book on Saturday. But yeah, I don't know. I just like started reading it and it's like, oh cool, that only affects 1 unit in my whole army. Don't really care about this attachment anymore. But yeah, I don't know. They're confused about the identity of what Admech are supposed to be. Oh, I think that's what... I think it just lets them get Doctrinas, if I remember correctly, or something similar to that.
It just lets them take the army rule. That's the special.
I think
if the secret move.
That sounds right. Yeah, it gives Castellan's Doctrinas. Yeah, it's fucking insane. So like, out of the 5 detachments, not 7, like Space Marines got. I think Necrons got 7 also. Out of the 5 detachments, one of them is completely useless because it only affects the robots, which are still 200 points, by the way. Fucking nuts. 200 point robots, too. Only affects the robots. One is the Data Psalm Conclaves, which affects mostly like the priests, so the Fulgurite and Corpuscari priests. Again, like mostly focused around 1 unit. I think it like helps out the tech priests too, so there's maybe some interesting play there. But we'll see. There's the Skitarii Hunter cohort, which just like gives your Skitarii shit stealth, basically. Which like the unit that I think probably cares about that the most is your infiltrators, but I think they have stealth built in, so I think it gives them. They always have cover, if I remember correctly, since they already have stealth. Yeah. Then what's the other one?
Yeah, infiltrators have stealth.
Yeah. The elimination maniple seems interesting. That's the only one to me that seems like kind of fun, because you have to play with objectives, but everything in that detachment has like a million different like qualifiers. Like you have to have a bunch of different things happening simultaneously to be able to trigger your stratagems. So it's like you either have to be a certain kind of unit on an objective, shooting another enemy that's on an objective to like gain +1 AP or some shit like that. It's nuts. It seems fun, and I'll play it, but it's kind of insane that like they decided that a detachment should just be that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Nothing about the book feels flavorful. 9th edition book, if you look at that, it was wildly complex. It was, you needed like a PhD to fucking play Admech.
Oh yeah.
But the book felt flavorful. Like it had character. All the different Forge worlds felt like distinct from each other, and it was fun to play. The 10th edition book is, I don't know, it's neither of those things, right? It's not really like necessarily challenging to play, and it's also just not very good. And it doesn't feel like Admech. They're trying to split it up into all of these distinct sub-factions with the Cult Mechanicus and the Cybernetica and the Scutari and stuff. But the range just isn't big enough to justify that. I think your Cult Mechanicus boils down to like Tech Priests and then the Electro Priests. And that's it. And then Cohort Cybernetica is the robots. Cult is Cataphrons and something. I don't remember exactly. But yeah. I don't know. They're trying to split it up and it's not working. Makes the book feel bad. So that's my kind of vent. And that's not even like getting into the dollars to points ratio thing that we like kind of talked about last night. Which is nuts. Insane.
Does the codex change anything with Rad cohort, like the bombardment?
Not enough to matter, right? Like it still does battle shock, basically. But most armies just don't give a shit about battle shock. It's a little better because there's like ways to play with it now. Like I think there's an enhancement that lets you bombard people that are within 6 inches of their deployment zone instead of just within their deployment zone.
So you can get infiltrators or scouts, perhaps.
Yeah. So it's like a little better. I think it also now, even when they decide to take battle shock instead of the mortal wounds, there's still a chance that they get dealt the mortal wounds. But it's like on a 5-up, they also take the mortal wounds kind of thing. So it's like marginally better, but it's still not good. Like I don't think they did enough to it to make it better, especially when they in the lead up were like hyping it up, like, oh, we made Rat Bombardment so much better because we know everybody hated it. They didn't really change enough of it to matter, I don't think. Yeah, every detachment is basically a slightly different flavor of horde units. It seems to, like no matter which detachment you pick, you're going to be running the same list if you're going for a competitive list, right? Everybody's going to be playing like 18 Cataphrons and then like some Scutari Vanguard to keep near your Cataphrons so you get the rerolls. That's another thing. Why the fuck does this book care so much about battle line? What's up with that? So there's a bunch of units that have abilities that it's like, it does one thing if you like aren't anywhere near battle line, but if you have battle line near you, then like suddenly for some reason that ability is just way better. I guess it's supposed to be like the data tethers thing. But I don't know. I feel like at that point you should have just made it more like the Tyrannid hive mind shit. I forget what that's called.
The synapse.
Yeah, the synaptic. The synapse stuff. But instead they like made it so your units are not efficient, I guess, unless they're near a battle line unit for some reason. Like a lot of times you don't want those units anywhere near each other because they're doing different things. It forces you to like run a Vanguard unit like right next to your Cataphrons. Doesn't make any sense. What do I know?
Well, hopefully they do something with the points to make it justified, because I know the combat patrols at least are Necron versus Adeptus Mechanicus are wildly
The
different
Admech,
in point size.
the Admech combat patrol is like 270 points or something. It's like it doesn't even break 300 points. It Admech has just become a meme at this point because of how expensive it is to collect that army, and it's fucking annoying. $60 for a 45-point chicken with a sniper rifle, like.
Is it worse than a guard?
Mm-hmm. Like significantly. Admech, if I remember correctly, like Admech is the worst by like a pretty large margin as far as points to dollars. I don't. Warhammer recently did a whole video on it and like made a spreadsheet breaking down all of that stuff for every army.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try not to think about the cost of my hobby. Usually, I just buy things and close my eyes at the register and just slide my plastic across.
Forge Worlds suck. Are you trying to name my Forge World again? So I was trying to name. I kind of like painted my stuff like Metallica, right? But I added a little bit of my own flavor to it. And so I've been trying to think of Forge Worlds that are different butt rock bands than Metallica. I don't know if Suck is a band. I've never heard of that, but
I'm sure there's a band out there called Suck. Yeah. I have no idea if they're butt rock.
I think kind of what I've gotten to is Forge World Chumbawamba. I think that's probably what I'll go for. But yeah.
They get knocked down, and then they get knocked down again.
And they keep getting knocked down. They keep getting knocked down repeatedly because Games Workshop hates them. Yeah, I kind of like trying to figure out, I guess, why this keeps happening. Games Workshop just doesn't understand like how to create a faction identity, it seems like, for a lot of these.
I have a theory to some extent on that for Adeptus Mechanicus. Because I think they struggle to find a place for the Mechanicus because they kind of sit in this weird space between like Imperial Guard and Space Marines. Like,
but they don't have to.
They don't have to, but like if you're trying to build out the rules for the faction and design them, if you make them too like robotic, tough, armored guys, then they're basically Space Marines. If you make them too much like Skitarii forces, then they basically just become a flavor of Guard. And so they're trying to do weird things to them, and they just haven't found, I don't know, the sweet spot.
Well, so what I think happened is that they released Votann, and I think Votann like filled that niche, right? Because they are kind of between Guard and Space Marines.
Yeah.
They can dabble in both melee and shooting, and they do both of them like kind of respectively. But they can't decide if they want to push Admech more towards shooting or more towards melee. This edition, they pushed them towards neither. They just fucking told them go way back there. Go play a different army. But like I think they had a place in 9th edition, and they were like very much a shooting army, but their melee wasn't fucking completely useless. But they were a combo-based army, right? You had to do like TJ in chat. I used to play against him in Vegas. He has been playing Admech for a long time. Every time I played against him, every time he was like, this unit does this, and then it makes this unit do this, and that, and that. I'm like, I believe you. You could be making up rules, but I believe you. Because there's just so many crazy combos that you could do with them, right? And it was kind of the same thing with Genestealer cults.
Yeah, I think combos for the Admech like that, chaining out sort of, buffs that trigger off of different units, is a cool way to do it. But I think like when they were making 10th edition, they wanted to simplify everything, you know.
Yeah,
And so a
I
lot of
think
the
they
more
did it too
complicated
much.
rules like that, yeah, a lot of the more complicated rules like that kind of got stripped away. Oh, I think Dark Eldar got hit by that a little bit.
Yeah, Admech and Sisters occupy a similar space. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Sisters, I don't know. Sisters feels like they can do a little bit more than Admech can. Even with just the one detachment. Um,
it helps that they've got like powered armored mainline infantry that can kind of like chunk forward.
yeah,
You know, they're
and
not
like
quite
Miracle
space marines.
Dice, yeah, and like Miracle Dice as an army mechanic feels nice and it feels flavorful. Doctrine Imperatives this edition don't. Um, just like you can stand back and shoot a little bit better, or you can advance, which is what you want to be doing. You need to get into the middle of the board to play the fucking game because that's just how the game works. And you can just have assault weapons, I guess, but you're still shooting on 4-ups for some fucking reason. Yeah. It's weird. It's weird, man. I don't know.
What would you do? What's like the minimal change you could do to the Admech Codex that would, in your mind, kind of like fix them?
Make Doctrine Imperatives
Or-
affect every unit.
Yeah, that seems like it should just be the way it is.
That's just like the easiest change, right?
Yeah.
Just say Doctrina Imperatives instead of just put it on every data sheet. Just it affects every unit in the book, right?
Is there any other army that their army rule doesn't affect every unit in the army? I don't think there is.
I don't remember enough of them off the top of my head. I'd have to look. But I mean, like Genestealer cults, right? Not every unit has cult ambush. Because it's like specifically non-character infantry.
Right. But most of like Genestealer cults are a very infantry heavy army, so
yeah. So it's not like it's a big deal, right? And it's
That's
easy
also a
to
very
it's easy to
powerful
remember
rule.
too.
Yeah.
You're not having to like constantly check every data card like, oh, does this unit have that ability? Does this unit have that ability? Because some that like in theory it's like Skitarii benefit from this. But then like there's the odd exception that's like, well, now I have to check every card because what if that one that I don't check is the exception, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's annoying. It's weird. I mean, I think that's like the bare minimum. Make every unit affected by Doctrinas. Otherwise, I don't know, lower the ballistic skill of every unit in the book by 1.
Make them all 3.
Yeah. I don't know if they like become busted at that point because I haven't tried it, but yeah. I've heard when the index came out, people were homebrewing that, right? They were just house ruling that, yeah, if you're playing Admech, you can shoot on 3-ups instead of 4-ups because it made them balance.
It didn't break the game.
Yeah. I don't think that sorry. I don't think that changes with the codex. So just make everyone shoot on 3s. Yeah, they have no damage output outside of Cataphrons and situationally Dragoons. I like Dragoons a lot. Cataphrons are really the only thing you're going to be doing any kind of killing with. Some of the vehicles can, but they're like wildly overcosted, right? I think it's like 180 points for the Dune Rider with the big gun on it. That's too fucking much. That's like main battle tank costs. I think that's like what a Lehman Russ costs, and it's not even close to Lehman Russ good. Yeah, the Scorpius Disintegrator. It's too much. Too expensive. Everything costs too many points. It doesn't really do anything. Yeah, 180. Yeah. Yeah, I think what they should do, to me, is leave everything the same points cost that it's at. Actually, fuck that. No, raise all of the points in the book by like a lot. But just make the army rules fucking insane, right? Like the datasheet abilities don't need to be nuts, but just make the detachments like crazy good. Because that would
What's up,
solve.
Alpha Omega?
Yo. Yeah, if you just like make the detachments really good, but not necessarily the data sheets, but just charge more points for the data sheets because you're paying for those detachment abilities, then you're solving the problem of Admech being just hot garbage as an army. You're solving like all of the weird anti-synergies that exist in the book, and you're solving the dollars to points ratio issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of my rant on Admech. It was a 25-minute rant, but that's my rant on Admech.
Well, we'll just have to see what they do in the balance data slates.
And I'm like, I'm new to playing Admech, right? I started playing Admech a few months ago when we did that first battle report. That first battle report we did with Admech was the first time I ever played that army. But
The one against Death Guard?
yes. That was the first time I literally ever played the army. But I fucking love it, dude. It's one of my favorite armies in the game because the models are so cool.
They have a very cool range.
And I like the lore a lot. But I don't know. It feels bad, even though I haven't been playing them that long. It feels bad to just have an army that I was really excited for be like miserable to play. Yeah.
D12s would be a really interesting mechanical change. Well, like rolling D12s?
Yeah,
I don't think that's ever
because
going to happen.
they switched toughness, right? Like the upper limit of most to a certain extent like is 12, right? There's some things that go over that, like I think the big chassis knights and like titans. I think a warhound titan is only toughness 13 or 14. But yeah. I don't know if I feel that they should have switched to D12s. The D6 system makes the game way easier, right? It makes it much faster.
They're never going to change. I know there was rumors about them. This is getting off topic a little bit. They're never going to change Warhammer 40,000 to D12s. I will.
They're never going to change it off of D6. Period.
Yeah, there's never going to be anything but a D6.
Yeah,
and the strongest reason for that is because a D6, like in terms of like dice people are familiar with, they associate a D6 with like a common everyday person board game. Anything that's not a D6 is associated with like much deeper nerdy rabbit holes, and so it will create a barrier to entry to like everyday people who they want to scoop into 40K.
Yeah.
It adds an element that to the game that just will turn people away.
Yeah. I still think they're fun to play, but only in a very casual sense. Yeah, I mean, I guess kind of. I mean, don't play competitive. I'm not nearly good enough at the game to even think about playing competitively. Everything I do is just I play the models that I want because they're fun, right? I play very casually, even on streams. Are you laughing at me? Oh my god, Ryan's laughing at me.
I don't know what just happened to me. My throat, the flesh is weak. My throat betrayed me. I'm not laughing at you. I'm a casual gamer too.
Yeah. I don't play competitively. Everything I play, even on streams, I'm like playing very casually.
I mean, we do play competitively sometimes. Like we go to tournaments.
Yeah, but last time I went to a tournament, I took a Lord of Skulls, right? Like I don't.
Yeah.
Even when I go to tournaments, I don't take competitive lists. I play the most fun lists. I play the big stupid models that I want to play, even when they're really bad. But I haven't played the new codex yet, to be fair. But just I've been watching battle reports. I've been reading the book. it seems miserable to play. I'm gonna give it a game. On what? Hold on, I need to look at a calendar because I don't know my dates. On the 18th.
We'll have to do a
18th, we're doing a
post-mortem.
stream. Yeah. Well, we're gonna
These are
be
your
doing it on
thoughts?
stream on the 18th.
Yeah.
These are my
These are your
thoughts for now.
pre-thoughts. We'll
Yeah.
get your afterthoughts.
I have a feeling they're not gonna change. It'll be a very short stream. We turn on the stream, be like, I believe the same things. Go watch the previous stream and end it. We're done.
But check out that game on the 18th.
On the 18th. Next week, on the 11th, we're going to be playing Necrons versus World Eaters. So that'll be a fun game. It'll be the new Necron Codex. Elliot's going to be piloting them. We're going to be taking some fun models. I got some stuff in the booth right now. Got one of these. I got to paint this up. So that'll be in Monday's game. And I've also got another fun model for the World Eaters. I've seen Admech win one game, but I don't remember who it was against. And I think it was Richard Siegler playing them. So, yeah, that barely counts. Yeah. So, The End by Jordan. That's the Admech rant.
All right.
I wanted to have Matt here to talk about Death Guard. I can't talk about them too much, right? Because I don't know a ton about them. But that's another army that GW seems like very confused about. They don't know what that faction's identity is. Are they supposed to be tanky? Are they supposed to be not? Are they supposed to be a debuff army? Or they're really fucking slow. They decided everything moves like 4 inches this edition for some reason.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do with Death Guard.
They fixed them a little bit with the enhanced plague thing.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I like
Yeah.
them leaning into the the plague thing with the kind of choose your own plague for the contagion auras, right? But
yeah,
when the index came out, contagions just being like, oh, you're -1 toughness in an edition where everything is like fucking toughness 12 is kind of garbage, right? So that was kind of a necessary change.
Tanks for toughness 12, but it'd still mess up some infantry. But I think the biggest issue with Death Guard, from what I've heard Matt say and just from looking at how they play, is like they don't have a feel no pain anymore. They're not as tough as they used to be. They've got like the plague aura, and it's pretty good, but they don't have that like disgustingly resilient toughness that they used to have, which when they're as slow as they are, I think that's the most important thing for them, because they have to be able to like march out into fire and withstand it, because they're not going to have the positioning to get
slow.
first strike a lot of time. Yeah. They're going to get outmaneuvered, but they just have to be resilient enough to deal with it and be like, hey, shoot me if you want to, charge me if you want to. I'm Death Guard,
Yeah,
but
if they were gonna make them less tough but more of a debuff army, then nerfing the movement was a huge mistake. But if they kept them tough and then nerfed the movement, and then like they still dabbled with the contagions a little bit, that would just make way more sense as an army, right? Like it's another example of kind of anti-synergies that they're creating in some of these books. They did it with Votan. They did it with Admech. They did it with Death Guard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, like the contagion is like half of the equation to deal with their slow maneuverability to some extent, because like the auras make it to where it's like people don't really want to get up close to them.
Yeah.
They just want to shoot them, and now they don't have a very good way to like deal with getting just shot off the board.
Yeah. Or just like getting outmaneuvered by armies that can either just flood with cheap bodies or just move really fast.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of all I can say on Death Guard.
They're toughness 5, I guess, which is okay, but they need a little something else.
Yeah, a little something.
But
Something.
I don't play them. This is just like kind of what I've picked up from observation and hearing people talk about them.
They're in a much better spot after the contagion change. Um,
Hmm.
still,
That helped them.
still confused. So they're still a confused index. We'll see how that changes with the codex. Yeah. What about Drukhari?
Good old Drukhari.
Another army
Yeah, the
GW famously seems
Drukhari.
confused about.
Yeah, they. I haven't played them a whole lot in 10th. I'm probably gonna play them more in the near future, but they lost a lot of their sort of melee potency,
I
which
would
is
say
the
they lost all of it.
combination. Yeah, pretty much all of it. Combination of losing blade artists and also losing some of the like faction rules, like the cult rules for the witches and the cabals never really were about melee, but the coven rules for the homunculus units, like for instance, like witches, they can't take any of their weapons anymore. All those weapon options don't exist.
Right.
Um, and even their like base weapon, uh, the Hecatrix blades, like oh wait, am I in ninth edition? Yeah, whoops. Yeah, the Hecatrix blades. Like I used to be able to get strength 5 attacks, like 5 attacks from each, or 4 attacks from each regular witch, 5 from the Hecatrix in a squad. Now you only get like 3 attacks, I think, per person, and they're only strength 3, and there's no potential for bumping up the AP. It's just they're just not. They just don't have the hitting power they need.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much from what I've seen talking to other Drukhari players, the meta for them now is just boats, boats and boats and boats. Tons of dark lances.
Just
If your
spam
dark
dark
lances
lances.
can't kill, then it's over.
Yeah.
Um,
And Incubi
having
too.
anti
Incubi
infantry.
got nerfed pretty hard too, didn't they?
Oh yeah, incubi.
So that's like the other
So
half of your melee potency.
yeah, incubi. I used a lot of like grotesques and stuff also.
Yeah.
Um, but incubi and witches were like there was people who made armies kind of based around those units, and now melee Drukhari is pretty weak.
Yeah. Well, and
They
you're
lost
kind of
their.
forced to take all of the different sub factions, quote unquote, together now, right? With the index.
You're not forced to, but I think you benefit if you do. In the very least, you benefit.
I mean, you're
Um,
not literally forced to, but like you're playing wildly inefficiently if you're not.
well, I think I don't know. I think you. I don't think you actually get any benefit. Okay, no, yeah, you get an additional pain token at the start of the battle if you have diversification.
Yeah.
If you have one or more of the leader models from each faction,
Yeah.
that's it. So you could just take like a succubus, a homunculus, and then archon, and then a bunch of boats,
And then just let them
and
die.
roll with that. Yeah. Um, you could have the racks sit on a point and the witches sit on the other point, and then your boats fly around. Um, I forgot what I was about to say. Oh yeah, in the incubi, they lost their like lethal precision. Uh, they don't. I don't believe they get the fight first anymore. I think it's just a battle shock.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. They can't get fight first anymore. They just cause a battle shock, and they don't have lethal precision. And the other big thing for them is you can't add an archon to them anymore.
Yeah.
Which makes
I
no sense.
we kind of
Lore wise.
yeah. I think we kind of like focused on a little bit of the mostly like the lethality and effectiveness of a book, right? But the other half of this that's really important to most of us is the like flavor of it.
Yeah,
And that just like is wild to me that because incubi are like the bodyguards of archons, right?
yeah. Literally, the only the reason that Incubi are in a Dark Eldar force, lore wise, the only reason they're in a Dark Eldar force is because an Archon has paid them to be his bodyguards, and they get them as their bodyguards because they're kind of like outside of Dark Eldar society because they're pretty much aspect warriors in a sense. They're like the one aspect warrior that Dark Eldar have, and so they're not really invested in all the like games and politics, so they're less likely to betray them as long as he pays them. But you can't put the Archon in their unit. You can only put Drazar in there, which that makes sense, obviously, but it doesn't make sense for the Archon not to be able to go in there.
Yeah.
But yeah. The other issue with Dark Eldar Army is, I'm pretty sure this is still the case, there's a lot of models you just can't buy.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm still huffing the copium that's because they're getting a big range refresh, which would be really fucking cool.
So I've heard rumors about Mandrakes at least.
Yeah. Are they gonna be like a kill team, or are they gonna be what comes out?
So
with the
what I've
codex?
heard is that the Mandrakes are going to be opposite of the Night Lords in a kill team box, which for me is like,
that's your kill team box. They made that for
it's
you.
Christmas. Yeah, it's all for me. Thank you, James Workshop. Elliot was hoping that James Workshop would make him a special box, but he was making me a special box the whole time. Spoilers. But yeah, there's no Mandrakes in the store. There's no Grotesques.
You still get
I think
Urgles.
there's Urgles. Is there a Quarter of the Archon box even?
Uh-oh.
Wait a second. Wait a second. Can you even buy the? Yeah, they don't sell the one unit that you can attach your Archon to. I guess you can attach them to Calibite Warriors. But yeah, there's no Court of the Archon box. It doesn't look like anymore. Or you can't buy the models individually. I forgot about that.
Can you buy your Beastmaster or whatever?
I think Beastmaster still exists.
I don't see him.
Nope, no Beastmaster either.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of stuff.
But for Beastmaster, I've got like what, 40 Hellions?
Yeah.
I can just use one of the Hellions as a Beastmaster. You use the guy with the stun claw because it looks like something you might grab a beast with.
Yeah, there you
go.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's because they're gonna get a decently sized range refresh.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't think their codex is on the release map, is it?
I don't know.
I don't remember seeing it. When did they updated one recently? Oh yeah, here we go.
I don't know if they're gonna get like a full range refresh. Like the Kabalite stuff and their vehicles are pretty solid. I know they're old, but they're not bad models, to be honest. The things that need the most of a refresh, in my opinion, are the Coven forces, the homunculus stuff. Obviously, Grotesques are gone.
Grotesques.
Yeah, like the Grotesques I got from RTLW, they should just make
from what?
Grotesques that look like that.
Oh my god.
RTLW. Hold on, I got them right here. Let me get my tray of. Uh-oh, what was that? Yeah, this big old tray of Dark Eldar. Woo woo woo. These guys.
We don't condone or support bootleg models here.
Do we not? We don't. Yeah, we don't. Yeah, I converted these myself.
RTLW was the brand of glue you use.
Yeah, it's the type of glue I use. But yeah, I don't know. They need to make better Grotesques. The Racks could be a lot better, I think. Racks like are such a cool lore-wise unit.
Yeah.
The current models are they're just very static. Like you compare them to some of the more recent 40K models, and they're all standing like straight up. And they're just kind of like, we are the Racks and we're coming for you.
Do they sing that song too?
Yeah, mine do at least. That's what makes them so scary.
Yeah, we got.
But yeah, there are other models. Other Dark Eldar players might tie me to a post and flame me for saying this, but I don't think a lot of their Kabalite models and their vehicles need an update. Even the witches are pretty solid, I think. But that's just me.
which is
I
not too
also
bad. I think Cavalry Warriors could use a little bit of an update.
maybe. I also used to play with the old original Dark Eldar models, so I know
Okay,
what it can be like. And so these are great to me, especially the Incubi. Incubi are
I do like the
badass.
Incubi. I don't think the Incubi are too bad. They could maybe use some
They
cooler
also
poses.
the Incubi got redone. Well, they were fine casting, got made into plastic. This is the main thing that happened to them.
Yeah, Incubi are pretty good.
But anyway, yeah. For me, I didn't get really impacted by the new Dark Eldar rules that bad because in 9th edition I played a lot of boat list to
boat
begin
party
with.
anyway. Yeah,
I was playing off meta boat party, and now the meta is pretty much all boat party. So I'm
Drukhari
just like
Regatta.
boat trips, baby. But
Yeah,
yeah,
we got coming
I'm
up
gonna play
Dark
some-
Angels. We got Orcs. We got Custodes. We got Tau, CSM, GSC, Sisters, and Redact.
Zotes.
Zotes is redacted.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the James Workshop video, he talks about codex Zotes.
Oh shit! I
don't think it's.
I didn't watch that. I meant to watch that.
Oh my goodness, it's unhinged. It's very bizarre.
Good.
I love that actor though. He's great.
Yeah.
He does a great job.
Yeah, I'll watch
But,
it after the stream.
Yeah, what do you think that redacted is? I know Matt jokingly says Hrud.
No.
That's a joke.
I mean, it's probably Emperor's Children, but I don't know. It could. There's a very good chance that it's a codex that we just already have, right?
Yeah, Alpha Mega says it's Blood Angels.
Blood Angels, yeah.
What makes you say Blood Angels? Why wouldn't they just say? I guess maybe they haven't finalized what they're gonna do. Then is why it's redacted.
Yeah. World Eaters. Well, let's see. We got Space Marines, Xenos, Imperium, Xenos, Chaos, Xenos, Imperium. Yeah, it's gonna be a Chaos army.
You think so? You don't think it's gonna be Space Marine?
No.
Because I would in terms of like
because there's no Chaos codices out right now, right? And the first one that's gonna come out is Chaos Space Marines. Actually, sorry, the first one that's gonna come out is Dark Angels in spring of 24. Yeah, I beat you to it. I beat you to it.
I wasn't gonna say it.
Look,
the lion's redeeming him now. The fallen are being risen.
Yeah, the first one that's gonna come out is CSM. Late spring 24. And that's gonna be the only one. So Redacted is gonna be probably a Chaos army.
Chaos. It would have to be Chaos Demons. It's like the only. Oh, I guess there's World Eaters and
Emperor's Children.
It makes sense for it to be Emperor's Children.
There's a lot of Chaos
for them to
armies.
keep it redacted. Nah, dude. See, my brain puts all those as Chaos Space Marines. Back in the day, they just were in one codex. Okay, so I've seen little references to this here and there about the resurrection of Sanguinius.
No.
Where's that coming from? Where are people getting? Does it have to do with the final Horus Heresy books? If it has to do with that, I don't want to know. I don't want to get spoilers on that. But if it's something else,
yeah, I don't know. He's not getting resurrected.
It seems like a long shot.
Sanguinor is getting a new model.
Okay.
I mean, that's my guess.
Is it because of the wings and the advent calendar? People were like, "Oh, it's Sanguinius."
Oh, maybe, I don't know.
There's a lot of things in Warhammer and 40k that have wings.
No. Scourges.
Just Sanguinius.
Scourges. New Scourges.
Scourges are
Drukhari refresh.
Scourges are hot now because they have a built-in shoot and move. They can carry dark lances, which like when we were at the Grand Narrative, I was listening to one of the Dark Eldar players there talk about Dark Eldar, and he was like, "Yeah, you basically just as many Dark Lances as you can take, and that's what's going to do the work in your army. Everything else, you just let it, run around and die.
Yeah, that's the thing about
So
10th edition, right? Is 10th edition as a whole is less lethal, except for the stuff that was already lethal just got more lethal, right? So like
yeah, I don't know.
your bolters and your radium carbines and shit, don't do anything. You might as well just not shoot them. But then you have like your
Yeah.
las cannons and your dark lances and stuff. It's like you have to take as many of those as humanly fucking possible.
I don't think they succeeded on making 10th edition less lethal.
No, I
I've
don't
seen
either.
units deleted off the board in a single round of firing from like a single unit.
Yeah, I agree.
Uh, I will say it might be less lethal for like tanks.
Yes.
Tanks, in my experience so
Correct.
far, are way better in 10th edition than they were in 9th edition.
Just vehicles in general, it's less lethal for them. For literally anything else, no, not even close.
No, I've been running
And
pretty tank
melee.
heavy
I
chaos
think
marines.
melee in general got less lethal.
Yeah,
But
possibly.
any
For
kind of
some armies.
shooting didn't. Yeah. That's why does God hate the Admech and other greatest hits? Those greatest
Well, I'll
hits
tell you
being Death Guard and
why.
Drukhari.
I'll tell you why God hates the Admech. It's because the Admech that we have a codex for is following the wrong god. He's not even a god; he's a
Is
corpse.
the right God Vashtor?
Maybe the Emperor's not the Omnissiah. True Mechanicum, rise up. Maybe that's the redacted codex, Dark Mechanicum.
Oh, that's a Chaos Army!
If
Could
Dark
be.
Mechanicum drops, I'm fucked.
Financially?
Yeah, like RIP my credit card balance. It's gonna be.
It's all going towards the Dark Mech Army.
Yeah,
10th
like I'm
edition is
already
basically
like.
World of Tanks. Yeah, true.
Yeah, I'm already trying to figure out ways to like make Dark Mechanicum with Chaos Marines. Like I've got ideas for like Traitor Guard are just part of the army, but then like doing conversions for obliterators to make them like corrupted cataphrons. I was thinking of like using the rules for possessed as like melee weird demon robots.
Yep.
Uh
I know you don't want to like be influenced by other people's armies, but Tabletop Tactics has a really fucking cool Dark Mech army.
Tabletop Tactics.
Yeah, they have a really fucking sick Dark Mechanicum army.
What do they run them as? As just Mechanicum?
Yeah.
See, I want to run them within a Chaos Marine army. That way I can do all the Dark God stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think if Dark Mech comes out, they're not gonna do it to where there's just like this unit is a Chaos version of the Loyalist version of this thing. I don't think they're gonna
Yeah,
do
no,
that.
it'd be all new units, I think. There'd probably be some parallels, like they'd probably have something that's effectively Skitarii and is pretty close to Skitarii, but they'd have different stats and weapons.
And they're not gonna be like these are just Chaos Cataphrons and these are Chaos Taser Chickens.
Yeah.
And they're not gonna do that.
Yeah, because they're like robots need to be like infused with demon flesh and all
They're gonna
kinds
have
of
tentacles
craziness.
and shit coming out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is that conversation. Talking about what we got going on for the rest of the year. We've got the Necron game, which we talked about a little bit, followed by the Admech game the next Monday. Between that, on our After Dark, we're gonna do a game show. We'll get more details about that later. I don't want to spoil too much about it. It's gonna be a fun one though. And then after we do the Admech game that Monday the 18th, we're kind of just gonna take a break for a little bit until the new year. I'm gonna put out some army showcase videos showcasing some of the armies that I have here. Yeah. Otherwise, we're not gonna be doing a whole lot until I think the first Monday of the year is January 1st. Yeah, look at that. So yeah, we'll see how
There you go.
hungover we are on January 1st. Yeah, I think that will do it for us, unless you have any parting words for the fine folks in chat.
Nah.
Wow, alright.
Thanks for watching, and I guess, like, all these kind of woes is why I put value in playing for fun and making flavorful lists that you can just enjoy.
Yeah.
Because you never know when the hand of James Workshop is gonna mess your army up.
Yeah. That's why I have 15 armies.
That's the secret.
Yeah.
That's what James really wants.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want people to think that I just, like, fucking hate Warhammer, right? I still love the game, still play it all the time, still having a lot of fun. I just have some gripes with some particular factions. But yeah, that's about it. You guys, you want to give us a like and a sub? We're real close to 1,000, so it would be much appreciated. It would be a great Sanguinalia gift for us and for you, because then when we hit 1,000, we're gonna do Never-Ending Horde mode, so you get to watch that. Yeah, that's about it. Catch you guys later.